So typically on this YouTube channel, we talk about publishing novels, but today we're going to be talking about publishing low content books, specifically publishing a notebook on Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. And my experience in the past with low content books is publishing my book launch planner series. So we have my writing planner, and then we have my novel outline planner, and then of course we have the actual book launch planner. And these are low content books, but they're not as low content as a notebook because there's still templates, checklists, and different guides in those planners. In fact, for some of those planners, Amazon doesn't consider them low content. And the interior of those planners were something I custom designed myself, creating the different templates, checklists, and guides. But today I wanted to dive into the world of publishing notebooks on Amazon because it is a huge corner of Kindle Direct Publishing, and it's a corner of the Kindle Direct self-publishing world where there's a lot of people making big money publishing these notebooks, which you have to sit back and think, how are they doing it? It's just a notebook. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Specifically, we're going to be talking about how we can use BookBolt, which is a software to do research behind finding the different notebooks that will perform well, and then also using BookBolt to design the interior and cover of the notebook to publish it to Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. So if you're like me and you've been a little curious about the world of low content book publishing, then make sure to stay tuned for this entire video. So what are low content books? Low content books are exactly what they sound like. They are books that have little to no content, which means they could be things like notebooks, activity books, planners, all of those types of things. Now, why are people publishing low content books to Amazon? And I think the simple and easy answer is that it's easy to make a low content book. So it's low effort with big reward. I will say the big reward only comes if you do the proper research to set up your notebook to make sure you're making a product that customers are actually looking for. You can't just throw together any sort of low content book and publish it on Amazon and hope that it performs well. You have to do the research to make sure that you are creating something that is wanted and also not already existing on the marketplace. I'm curious what you guys think of low content books are and what your opinion is. I feel like there's a lot of animosity between authors that are novel writers versus authors that publish notebooks on Amazon or planners or any sort of low content book. But I think it's helped recently that Kindle Direct Publishing made you distinguish if your book was a low content book. That way they don't get mixed up with actual novels that are listed on Amazon. So when you publish on KDP, there is a little box that you have to check off stating that your book is a low content book, but we'll talk about that later. Let me know what your thoughts are on low content publishing in the comments down below. Let's dive into actually creating our low content book, and for that we're going to be using BookBolt, which is also the sponsor of this video. BookBolt is a software that you can use to do market research on your low content books as well as creating your low content books. Today specifically we are creating a notebook, but please know you can use BookBolt to create just about any low content book. You can use it to create any sort of planner, you can use it to create a bullet journal, you can use it to create puzzle books, you can use it to create an activity book. You'll notice that when we're in the BookBolt software that there's a lot of different templates that they have that you can automatically put into your low content book to make it super easy. But with that said, let's dive into part one of this video, which is research. So here we are in BookBolt. You can actually see off to the left hand side that BookBolt is split into two different parts. We have the research and then we have creating. So we're going to hang out in this research area for now. You can see there's a lot of different tools at our disposal. First off, we have the tutorials. Of course, if you want to watch any of these tutorial videos, you can go ahead and do that. But we're going to jump into step one, which is researching which notebooks sell well. So to do that, I personally enjoy using the cloud feature. And you can see that we can search by bestsellers, so top 100, top 200, and so on. We're going to leave our category as notebook, but you can see all the other different low content book categories that there are. BSR is bestseller ranking. So if you only want to look at low content books within a certain ranking on the Amazon store, you can set that here. And then you can also set the price range of other books that you're looking up. So I personally want to look up a pastel notebook. So I personally want to look up a pastel notebook as my keyword to see other notebooks that look like this. So I'm going to hit the search icon and we're going to see what pops up. So these are all the other products that are currently on Amazon using this keyword. And we can see different things like the publisher, the author, the title, the price, when it was published, estimated monthly sales, and so on. So the big thing we want to keep in mind is that we want to look for notebooks that have been published relatively recently. So this one was back in 2018. And while it's still selling really well, we don't want to assume that something we would publish right now today would sell as well, because sometimes things just sell well because they've been out for a long time, customers like it, and so on. And also, none of these are pastel, so you want to look for one that is actually pastel, so like this one. And we can just scroll through and see what catches our eye. We can see this one's pastel, and this one's selling good. We can see that it has 286 monthly sales, and the bestseller ranking is there. And sometimes we might just want to play around with our keywords. So I'm actually going to see if I get rid of the word notebook and just have pastel, if that will improve what comes up. And you can see now we have a little bit more of what I was looking for, which is an actual pastel notebook, specifically a composition notebook. And we can see 235 estimated monthly sales, and the list price is $6.99. And what's really cool here is that you can go ahead and see if you like this listing. You can favorite it and add it to your favorites list, and you can re-refer to this later if you would like. So this one in particular, I really like. This one was published just this year in 2024. The list price is $6.95, and it sells about 152 of these every single month. And we can also see that it was independently published, which tells us this is a notebook that was published on Kindle Direct Publishing. What's cool is that we can hit the show button to see what the description of the notebook is, or what I personally prefer to do is just to click on the title, and that'll bring us to the Amazon page, and we can see the actual listing on Amazon, and we can get a closer look of it, and we can see what the cover looks like. And this is just kind of showing us what we're kind of aiming for in terms of our planner. So whatever you do, the big thing you're looking for is a notebook that is selling well. And you can define on your own what you think selling well is. If you think 152 notebooks is good, or maybe you want something that sells a lot better. Like I know there were some that were selling like over 200 a month, like we saw earlier. Like I think the ones over at the top, this cute little one is selling 235 a month, which is awesome. And we can look at that one on Amazon as well. And we can also see this one has a lot more ratings. I will say, as a person who has published low content books, I find it's really hard to get reviews of your low content books on Amazon. So even if something doesn't have a lot of reviews, like this one doesn't have a lot, it only has 6 reviews, that doesn't mean it's not selling well. And we can see that when we look at the stats here. It's actually selling 152 a month, even though it only has 6 ratings. Step 2 in the process is choosing what trim size you want your notebook to be, as well as what type of paper and interior you want your notebook to be. And in that instance, I just like to look at the notebooks that we're trying to emulate. So we can see when we go to the Amazon listing that it actually says, not only in the description, but also on the cover, that it's 7.5 by 9.25. And I believe this one is also 7.5 by 9.25. So we know that is a great notebook size. And now we also want to know what type of paper we want to do. This notebook in particular is 100 pages and a college ruled type of notebook paper. And this one is 110 pages and wide ruled. Now, you can go either way. I think I'm going to do a wide ruled notebook because this one is the notebook that is selling better. I don't know if that's because of the cover of the notebook or because of the number of pages and the type of pages. But in case that is the case, we're going to go with wide ruled 110 pages. Step number 3 will bring us back into BookBolt because we want to do the research for our metadata. Now you can see over here, there's a lot of different ways to research your metadata. There's a keywords tool, a KDP categories tool, and a KDP spy tool. Today in particular, we're going to be using the keywords tool. And when you click on that, you need to make sure that you click on search to actually search different keywords. Now you can see in here that I was actually looking up keywords earlier for different pastel notebooks. So you can see all the different keywords that are popping up for pastel notebooks. And what you're really looking for is that you want a keyword that has a high search volume but low competition. So we can see over here, it gives us a competition of either high, low, or medium. So far, we only have medium. I'm going to hit a little heart on this so it is added to our favorites list, which we can visit later. And there's also many different pages. We can see that the competition is really high for a lot of these keywords, so it's not something we want to spend too much time on. But this can also give you ideas for different products you can create as well. So if you see, like, where's a good example? A 4x6 notebook pastel. If it has a high Amazon search volume, you maybe want to create a 4x6 notebook rather than, let's see, we're creating a 5.5 by 9.25 inch notebook. So just some things to keep in mind. And you can, of course, look up different things. Like we're going to put in composition notebook now, and we're going to see what that gives us. And we can see just composition notebook in general has a huge search volume, but also a huge competition. And just to point out that this is Amazon's trending keywords, and then this is Google's most trending keywords. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at these things. So the one bummer with the Amazon most trending ones is that we don't have a competition scale like we do for the Google one. So just be mindful that even if something has a super high Amazon search volume, this is probably extremely competitive. So you want to get a little more niche with your keywords. Like if we do pastel notebook wide, that will probably have better keyword results. Specifically like this one notebook wide ruled, because we're going to be creating a notebook that is a wide ruled notebook. But also keep in mind that we should have that information in the description of our book as well. So we have right here wide ruled pages, because when you create your Amazon, there's a bunch of different ways you create your metadata. You create it using the title of the book, the subtitle of your book, the book's description, and then you'll also see when we're uploading the book on Amazon, you can add keywords and categories. So there's a bunch of different ways to get in different metadata and keywords into your book's listing so it shows up in search. So you really want to get super familiar with how the metadata on Amazon works and the best way to create your listing on Amazon so it does show up in search. The last tool I'm going to show you is the Book Scout tool. And the way this one works is, and again, you can see I was using it earlier, is that you put in the ASIN of a book and it gives you all the keywords that book in particular is popping up for. So this is the notebook we were looking at before. And even though when you're on Amazon, you can only input 7 different keywords, which you'll see later, as you can see, this notebook is ranking for way more than 7 keywords, which is awesome. That means that this listing is a really good listing. So we can look at this and see that there's a lot of different keywords going on. They're throwing in a lot of different descriptions for this simple notebook. We have the title of the book here, and then this is the subtitle of the book, which is very long, but having those longer subtitles, especially for nonfiction or low content books, is very helpful in throwing in the right metadata into your book so it shows up in search. So definitely, I think this one is the one to look to when it comes to figuring out how to put in the proper metadata into your Amazon listing, because we can't even see what type of categories that this book is in or what keywords they're putting in on the back end, but we can see that there are a ton of keywords that this notebook is searching for. So what I want you guys to do when you're doing this metadata research is to have a Google Doc like this one open. And this specifically is the Google Doc that I have for The Trail to You and Me, which is a romance novel that I have. And this is just my upload notes for the book on Amazon. So I have the ISBN, I have the categories that I wanted to put it in, I have the description of the book, and what I don't have, but I should have in this document, is you also want to put in the keywords into your upload notes document. So you want to have all this information prepared ahead of time. So you want to have your categories prepared, the book description prepared. You also want to have the title and the subtitle of the book prepared, as well as the keywords prepared. So just have that information in a Google document and have it open as you're uploading your book to KDP. It'll make your life a lot easier. So you can see we've done a lot of talking about research, and we haven't even started creating the actual notebook yet. And that is because you really do have to take your time with it and make sure that you're doing the proper research so the notebook does actually show up in search so people know it exists, so they will buy it. And coming back to the Book Scout tool, in case you're curious how to use it in the first place, let's go to this notebook, which we haven't looked up yet. We need the ASIN number. We're going to scroll down. This is a great listing. You can see they also added A+ content into their Amazon listing as well. So you can also create A+ content. I actually have a tutorial on how to create A+ content. So I will leave that linked down below, but you can see they're doing an awesome job of creating beautiful sales pages for their notebooks, as well as also adding their other notebooks that they sell to make sure that if they don't buy this one, they might buy the other one as well. But what we're looking for here is the ASIN. So here it is right here under the product details. We're going to copy it and we're going to paste it into BookBolt, hit search, and just give it a minute. And here we have our notebook, and this is all the keywords that is ranking for. We can see some info is still loading in, but this is just more ideas for different keywords that you can use for your own book. Ideally, you want a keyword that has a high search volume, but a low total items count. The total items count is essentially your competition. So there is 2,136 other books / notebooks ranking for this particular keyword, but the search volume, aka the number of people searching it, is 10,287. So just really take your time when it comes to doing that research for metadata. All right, that is enough talking about the research side of things. Let's jump into actually creating our notebook. So in BookBolt, we're going to go ahead and go over to this left-hand side and switch from research mode to create mode. And we need the BookBolt Studio. And as you can see, it opens up in a separate tab. So right off the bat, it is asking us what project we are creating. We want to create a paperback, cover, and interior. But as you can see, you can do other versions as well. But today we're doing the cover and interior. We're going to be doing a pastel notebook. Our trim size is going to be 7.5 by 9.25. And we're going to be doing a black and white interior with white paper. And this is just to keep our print cost low. I'm going to do no bleed. Bleed is when you have an image that extends past the page. But today I know we're just going to do no bleed. And I want 110 pages because we saw from doing our research that there were notebooks that performed really well with that page count. So let's go ahead and hit create project. So right off the bat, we're opened up to the cover. So this is the cover template that KDP provides us with. It's also right here in BookBolt, so we can go ahead and create our cover. And there's a lot of different ways you can create your cover. But right off the bat, let's go ahead and add an image in, which is this icon here. And we can either upload an image. We can find one on Pixabay or Unsplash. I'm going to use Pixabay, and we're just going to search pastel. and see what pops up. I'm kind of hoping for flowers or something fun. Actually, I really like this books and coffee one, but I want an image that's really going to easily stretch across the entire page. And I want something that I know other people will like as well. I actually really like this image right here. And now I'm just going to play around with things to make it look good. Okay, so I designed this super quickly, but this is our composition notebook. We have a spot for someone to write their name in. We have the info, like the 110 pages, wide ruled, the size of the notebook, and then we have the overall cover. So that is a very quick and easy way to design our planner. Obviously, you can take more time with it if you would like. I did that in maybe like not even 5 minutes. I wasn't timing myself, but that was a super easy way to create our cover. So let's go on into the interior of our notebook and add in our wide ruled pages. To do that, we're going to go over here. This is our templates. And we can see we have a ton of different templates. So we have our typical just interior notebook templates, but as you can see, Bookable offers a lot of different things like word scrambles, different puzzles, games, hangman. So you can see that Bookable offers a lot of different stuff, so you can really have fun with creating low content books. But like I said, today we're just doing notebooks. So let's do a page here. We'll grab our ruled pages, and like I said earlier, we're going to do a wide ruled page. And we're going to go ahead and select all of them. So we have our first page. And actually, we can just hit select all and then unselect our cover so it doesn't apply to our cover. And hit continue to options. And that's just letting us edit the page a little bit more with the line width and the space between the lines and the line color. I actually think it would be kind of fun to do the line color a pastel color. But to do that, I actually want to grab the pastel blue that this is. I unlocked my shapes earlier because I kept accidentally clicking them. So I'm going to unlock that so I can see what color this blue is. So this is our color code right here. I'm going to copy that. We're going to relock that layer. So now I grabbed that color. We're going to go back to our interior pages, go back to that template, go to wide ruled, make sure we select all, then unselect our cover, hit continue to options. Now we're going to select that line color. I could have pasted the code in right here, but we also have the two color options that I used on my cover as options for the line color here as well. So let's hit OK. So we can see our line color changed, and we're going to hit submit. And now all of our pages should load in. And we can see right here that our pages did indeed load in. And from here, what we can also do is we can add in different elements to make notebook a little extra special. Like if we wanted to make our planner notebook pages a little extra special, we could select something like the star, and we can change it to, let's do the pink, and turn the opacity way down so it's just barely visible, and then we have it take up the entire page. Like we could do that if we wanted our planner notebook pages to be extra special. And whatever you do to one page, you can hit this little apply to all pages button, and it would go ahead and apply that to all the different pages. Now you can go ahead and add that extra shape element if you want. I personally am not, so I'm going to delete that. Mostly because when I go into this Amazon listing, I can see that they don't have anything fancy going on. It's just a plain old piece of paper. What they do have is that they have the ruler set up. So I'm just going to keep my pages plain, and I like the slight light blue that they have going on, and it matches the cover, which I think is fun. So that is all I'm going to do because we're just making a plain old notebook. And now we're going to go to download, and download the current project and do it for the CMYK because it's for printed books. And we're going to do the entire project. So it's just going to take a couple moments for it to download, and it will download as a zip folder because when we upload these files to KDP, we have to upload them as 2 different documents. So I went ahead and downloaded it, and I'm going to go in and we're going to right click and hit extract all, then extract again, and we see that info going through. And here are our 2 different documents that we need to upload. So this is our cover document, which is a PDF that is ready for KDP. There it is. And then let's look at the other one. This is our interior document, which is a multi-page document that's just a bunch of notebook pages. So let's go into KDP, and we're just going to go into my KDP account, and we're going to do this super quickly. So let's hit that create button, and we're going to do a paperback book. And this is when we just put in all of our information. So I'm just going to put in a lot of plain old info right now. I want you guys to really do your research in terms of the metadata like I talked about earlier, but we're trying to do this as quickly as possible today for the sake of the video. We're going to put in our book title, subtitle. If it's a series, low content books actually can't do a series, so strike that. We want your author name, and then any contributors, your description. You want to say that you own the copyright of it. If you have any sexually explicit images or titles, which you probably shouldn't for a notebook, choose your categories. And the big important thing here is, does your book classify as any of these? Low content book, journal, notebook, planner. So that is what we need to check off. If you don't check this off, your book will not get approved and you'll be held up during the uploading process. Then we put in our keywords. You can see it's listed as optional, but you definitely want to put those in. If you want a full tutorial on how to upload your book to KDP, I have a separate video on this. Obviously today we're going through this quickly for the sake of this video. We're going to go ahead and hit the save and continue button. All right, so we are on the second step on KDP, which is the paperback content right here. We're going to leave it as published without an ISBN because it says here you can publish a low content book without an ISBN. You can also add in your own if you would like. Then we have our paper type. We want to make sure we chose what we chose and decided on earlier when we are on BookBolt. So we have black and white interior with white paper, and then our trim size. So we need to update this to 7.5 by 9.25, which is right there. We have no bleed, and I want my cover to be a matte cover, not glossy. And now we need to go ahead and upload our manuscript. So the manuscript of our book is going to be the interior, so the notebook pages. So we're going to go ahead and hit that button, and we're going to find it right here. We can see paperback interior. We're going to select that and hit open, and then it's going to upload. And now we got to do the book cover. So we're not going to use their cover creator. We're going to hit upload a cover you already have and hit upload your cover file. And this time we're going to select the PDF that says paperback cover, hit open on that, let it upload, which takes a while. And now we say that it is not AI generated. So now that we have the manuscript uploaded, the book cover uploaded, we'll scroll down. It's not an AI book. And then you have to confirm by checking off that little box. And the last thing we have to do is launch Previewer. So this will just do a digital flip through of the notebook. And we have to do it just to make sure it looks okay. The loading page takes a while, but you just want to double check everything. This is like digitally proofreading your book. You can also order a proof copy. You just have to pay the printing cost and shipping. And that way you can physically hold your notebooks, make sure that it looks okay. Or you can skip the physical proof and just publish it using the digital proofing process. So here is our digital proof. We can see everything. It looks great. We can flip through and we see all of our lovely notebook pages. And then basically, if it looks good, like it does, you just hit the approve button, and that will bring us on to the next step. Now, hitting the approve button doesn't publish it. We don't publish it until we get to the next page. which we get to by hitting the save and continue button. And this is just where we do all of our pricing, our territories, where we want it published. I, for the most part, leave everything at its default. We can see here, this is where we decide on our list price. The minimum we have to list our book at is $4.78. We make a 60% royalty rate. If you're ever confused on how the royalty rates for KDP work, you can watch one of my latest videos where I explain how the royalties work, how you get paid, when you get paid, all of that. Now, today, when it comes to the list price, I'm going to go with what our competitor did, which was $6.99. So I'm just going to put that in, $6.99, and let all that info load in. And we can see for every time someone buys our notebook, we make $1.32, which doesn't seem like a lot, but this is a low content book. We spent like maybe a half an hour creating it and doing our research. You can spend a lot more time doing your research. But the point is we did something that was low effort. We're making a very small amount, but we're hopefully going to be selling a lot. So once you put in all that info, you can request your proof copy if you want, like I mentioned earlier, or you can hit that publish your paperback book button. Today am just going to hit the save draft button because I didn't put in a lot of my metadata. I'm not going to publish this, but I am curious what you guys think of this. And if you guys think I should do a sort of experiment where I do publish notebooks or low content books and see how they sell. Like if you do the proper research, will they sell easily? And can I sell it without using my name and brand to do it? Like if I don't advertise it here on YouTube or on my Instagram, what happens if I just publish a notebook without telling you guys? Like, will it still sell well? Like, can I do it without the use of my platform? Can I do it truly just off of metadata and maybe a couple of ads on Amazon? Let me know if that's an experiment I should do and if it's a video you guys would be interested in. So that is it for today. Thank you again to BookBolt for sponsoring this video. It was super fun to check out the software and really use it to do some research and actually creating our low content book with very little effort, might I add. Otherwise, that is it for today, and I'll see you all in the next video.